Well, hello, this is Juan Curiel, and I want to welcome you back to our episode. In our previous episode, we talked about who we are and how we started and who was all involved. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about what a governing body does and who's involved in the governing body and what our roles are, our responsibilities, and our due diligence. So that's what I'll be talking about, and then I'll be going into a little bit about our fighters, our board, executive board, what their roles are, and how long they've been with us. So um, before I continue, I would like for you guys to hit the like button and subscribe, and by doing so, you're helping us to continue with these amazing videos and keep you informed with what's going on in boxing today. Well, a governing body. A governing body is an organization, a boxing organization that ranks fighters, that looks at each fighter and their accomplishments, and then gives them the opportunity to fight for that belt. That's what a governing body does. But before you do that, you have to have bylaws in place so that people can, know what they're getting themselves into. There's a standing, the rules, unified rules of the ABC. We follow those because that's who we go with, all of them. So the ABC plays a role because they're the ones that we got our compliance with. We're compliant with them and the FTC. When a fighter calls, or we call them to give them an opportunity, we tell them, it's got to be a good record or it's got to be a 500 record. And we have found that those fighters that have 500 records bring it. They come to fight, and most people don't give them those opportunities, but we do, just because we know that they bring it to the table and on fight night, and that is very, very important. Okay. We make sure that our rankings are reviewed every month. And because of this pandemic, we really haven't been reviewing a lot of things. We still have our meetings, but we don't really rank anybody because there weren't any ABO championship fights. And although there's a lot of championship boxing going around the world, our focus is here, this side of the continent. And with that being said, that's why I think we've been able to do a pretty good job, because we pretty much talk about every fighter. Now, Ernie Brown and Vince Hudson, Ernie is the chairman of the ranking. Him and Vince talk about different fighters. They look at their records, and then they call me to make sure that everything is okay. Then we discuss a lot of things, where they're at, their previous records and things like that. So we look at the fighter very closely, and I think that by us doing that, we've been very successful in getting the quality of champions that represent us. I mean, you look at all our champions, a lot of them have gone to become world champions and have really benefited from our strategy and development. So that's really good. I'm very happy about that. Now, we also talk about new business and old business. Governing bodies tend to talk about sanctioning fees and, why do we need sanctioning fees? And, well, we got to pay for the belts. And if we got to go there, well, we got to pay for airfare and lodging, right, and then meals, and all of those are expenses. But what I like to do is I always like to appoint people there to help the promoters with their cost, and that's how we are. We try to work with people and we try to do things. Now, I don't have access to a portal that gives me names of fighters, gives me names and addresses. We play fair. We don't cheat. We don't we don't have access to a portal where you have all this information. We do the old way. We pick up the phone and we call people, and or they call us. We've been very blessed. People have been calling us, so that's how we've been able to get those championship fights, and basically referrals. Hey, this is a great organization. Give them an opportunity. So that's really what we talk about. New businesses, old business. Um, like we had an ABO Cares program on our amateur division 2 years ago, and we were able to give those young athletes championship belts and books that were donated by this other guy that was an author. It was about gangs, so that went very well. That was here in Waukegan, Illinois, and we probably had about 500 people attend, and it was a pretty nice event. It was great. We had a lot of great fighters. Montel Griffin, Asher Issue, our American regional champion, was there. We had a lot of dignitaries like, oh my God, oh my God, Israel Acosta. He was one of the probably he is one of the best coaches that comes out of Wisconsin. He's coached in the Olympics, and I believe he's there now. Just a world of knowledge that man has, and the love for the sport is unparalleled. There's nobody else out there like Israel, in my opinion. I love that guy to death. But he came out, and so did Montel Ice Griffin, came and supported Leroy Murphy, former world champion, and he's the ABO chairman. Um, and the list goes on and on. We just had a lot of great people there at that event, and I was very, very happy about that. Then I always leave our meetings with thoughts. In our last meeting, I had Alan Santana come, and he attended that thing in Waukegan too, that big event for the amateurs. He was here, so I want to thank Alan from California for helping and participating in that as well. But in the last quarter event, I had Alan here. He's a representative in California. And I also had Leroy Murphy, and I had Vince and Ernie Brown. And in our last discussion, we discussed about what we can do to improve, or what we can bring to the table as far as protection for fighters. And we have access to an insurance company that we do work with, and with that, we can bring all our members, life insurance and dental and vision. It's a certificate type policy, but fighters would be protected if they fought in ABO championship fights or other championship fights abroad. As long as they pay their annual premium, they're protected, and that's a good thing. So if there's more information, you can hit us, look at the description box, and all the information will be there if you want to partake and be a member of the American Boxing Organization. So now I'd like to talk a little bit about the executive board. The executive board is made by, well, it encompasses a lot of world champions. A lot of us in the organization have either fought. We've all been involved in this sport in one form or another. Okay, I've been involved in it as an amateur, but not as a professional fighter. I, have a boxing gym. I own the ABO. I run the ABO. So, my experience is more academic, more business. Francisco Leal, he's our president. He's in Houston, Texas. He oversees a lot of the relationships over there. Calls come in. Fighters want to inquire about certain weights, what's available, what's not available, who's in our ranking, who's not in our ranking. So that's what he kind of oversees. And then we have Vince Hudson. Vince Hudson was an amateur. He was very colorful as an amateur. I believe his record was 101 fights, and I think he had 2 or 3 losses as an amateur. And back in the day, when it used to be called the Amateur United States Boxing Federation, they didn't have headgears. So it was almost like the pros. And then they just they got away from all of that, and they became more through USA Boxing with the headgears and things like that. But yeah, he has a world of knowledge in boxing. And he is the founder and owner of the Chicago Brotherhood. And I believe they have a function coming up here in Chicago. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be there because I'm going to be in Houston. But it's they raise money, and they raise money for different things that they want, and different initiatives that they want to get involved with. So it's a great organization. I hope that you guys come. If you live in Chicago, I hope you go there, support it, and just be a part of that. It's a great grassroots organization, and I'm very proud to be a member of that. So that's Vince, and then we have Leroy Murphy. He was a world champion, cruiserweight champion. He's our chairman. He was a champion from 1984 to 1986. I believe he was the IBF champion, and he was very colorful. They call him solid gold because I guess they gave him a medal from the Olympics. He didn't fight in the Olympics because I guess there was a war going on, and I guess he got a presidential award, that medal. So that's why the gold medal. That's why they call him solid gold. But great fighter, great mentor. He's taught me a great deal about the sport. He's given me great insight, and the rest of the team, great insight. So very proud of Leroy Murphy. His role as a chairman is basically business development, building those relationships with those guys that that are really hurting, and we try to help as much as we can by doing outreach and helping them link them to different agencies so that they can get mental wellness. They can get food stamps, or they can get some form of rental assistance. So those are the types of things that Leroy does. He'll call me to consult with me, to tell me, or he'll look for me for that direction, and then for boxing direction, I'll go to him, and then I'll ask him, and then he'll give me his feedback, and then we'll have that conversation. So that's Leroy Murphy. Then we have Ernie Brown. Now, Ernie Brown is one of those, he's a Hall of Famer. He's been great for this company. He's supportive of any organization, really. And I'm going to tell you that a lot of the things that got done is because of Ernie Brown. He's an advocate of the sport, an advocate of everybody. He's friends with everybody. Ernie Brown is in charge also with Vince to go over the rankings and talk about the rankings and develop different programs for the amateur program that we've had for the last 2-3 years. And I'm really glad that the bigger organizations are taking that, and they're developing it, enhance it, because obviously they have the money for that. We don't, but we do what we can with what we got, and you know what, we're growing and we're doing it right. So I'm glad that we at least we enlighten them to go ahead and invest in that, because the amateurs do need that support. But Ernie Brown, he's very important, a very important component and part of this organization, because his knowledge is just amazing. He knows all the rules, and I can just go on and on. And then this year, we're honoring the North American Championship, the heavyweight championship, after him, because number one, he was a heavyweight. Number two, he's had great leaders, great mentors like Archie Moore. He trained with Archie Moore, and he's had so many great experiences. And that when we have our conversations, he'll say, "Hey guys, but we also have to consider this." So he's really like that guy that maintains that balance with everything, every flow of things that we discuss in this company. So he's very, very, very important. So that's why he's the chairman of the ranking division. Then we have Laura Ramsey. Laura Ramsey is our female president, okay, for the female division. And I was looking at the rankings today. She was ranked number 2 with the WBC in the world, and then she was ranked number 5 with the WBA. I couldn't find anything for the IBF or the WBO. Maybe I just wasn't looking hard enough, but she's a highly ranked fighter. She has fought for our championship twice, and the first one could have gone either way because the opponent that she beat, she's ranked actually number 3 with the WBC. So that goes to tell you a little something, right? And Laura is our ABO North American champion, and she's retired. And she's taken off with the female division. She has been doing a pretty good job, and she's very knowledgeable. Lady Ram is very knowledgeable. She brings a lot of things to the table. I have a lot of respect for her. Her knowledge is just so profound. And you know what I really like about her is her perspective on things, and she's very neutral on everything. And that's what I really like about this entire team. We all discuss, we all talk about things that we need to talk about. And those things that are priority, that we feel that it is very important. So Laura is a great addition to the team. She's brought a lot of value to the team. So we got people like Leroy Murphy, we got people like Laura Ramsey, Ernie Brown, Vince Hudson, and then now I'm going to talk a little bit about Alan Santana. Now Alan Santana, he's our GQ model. No, but he's got that Hollywood look to him. He's very, very knowledgeable as well. He owns his own paving company in California. A great friend of this company, a great friend of boxing. He's written a book where he pretty much doesn't hold anything. Pretty much talks about everything there is to know about the industry, and I encourage you to go to Amazon and purchase his book. It's a very good book, and portion of those proceeds benefit the ABO as well. So that's also why I'm mentioning it. And I believe that Alan has really given us a presence in California, and I'm very happy with him. He's just a joy to have around. He brings a lot of things to the table. And, he's developed quite a few, I think 2 or 3 champions out in California. So we're very happy about Alan because he's done a lot of good things. So, and he's our representative in California. So now I would like to talk about Alicia Castaneda. Alicia Castaneda was a world-class contender, and he's from Humble in Texas, Houston, Texas. And I'm going to tell you that Alicia is the most humble guy anybody will ever meet. He's supportive. He's so supportive. He's a true gentleman. I can't say enough great things about this guy because he has really, truly done a really great job with keeping us informed with what's going on, with letting me know where we need to make some changes. And at the last minute, if I ever need a supervisor, I'll pick up the phone, and bam, he's there. He has shown just a great level of responsibility, and he's a great. Him and Francisco, my president, they work very well together. I believe they talk every now and then. I remember we couldn't get a hold of Francisco, and it's nice to know that he was fine because I had people that can call and can check up on him, and we have that we're a family here at the ABO. We're all very close, so we're very happy about that. And then we have our other dignitaries like Jesse Benitez. He's a former world champion, and he lives out in Corpus Christi. He was a WBO bantamweight and featherweight champion. Colorful guy, a lot to offer. He's a nonsense type of guy. I really like him. I really respect him. He's just such a great guy to talk to. And when we talk, we can talk for days. And I remember back in I want to say it was 1990, 92, 93, the WBO had a convention. They had a convention in Hialeah, Florida. And I remember that it was him, it was Jesse Benitez, Michael Moore. At the time, I want to say he was a light heavyweight WBO champion, and Emmanuel Stewart from the Kronk Club, right? And I remember in that convention, I was having a steak with Gene Fulmer, and because it was a really nice convention, and we went out. Jesse and we went out, and we went to different clubs and made a few introductions, and when we were leaving, I remember saying to him, "Hey, one day we're gonna work together," And isn't that funny how life it just comes, it's just very small. And now I'm blessed to know that. And I remind him of it, but he doesn't really remember. But I remember, I used to look up to him. He used to walk over people. This guy was like, he's a smaller guy, but Jesus Christ, that guy could fight, and he was no joke. I'll tell you what, he was among one of the best in my book. He was one of the best. So that's Jesse Benitez, and then we have Vicki Parker. Vicki Parker is she's more like a consultant of the ABO. She has a lot of great knowledge. She used to be with the Texas Commission, and she brings a lot, to the table as well. I believe that she is really, she keeps us well informed, and I believe that that's why we've remained, a presence in Texas and abroad. But that's because of the people that we have within our company. So I think that with everybody's roles, because everybody has to play a role in this organization, all of us have a certain level of responsibility, and that responsibility is the same responsibility that we with the American Boxing Organization want to exercise every time there is a championship fight out there. Because you have to remember, ladies and gentlemen, that in boxing, you have two guys risking their lives for your entertainment. Let me repeat that. You have two guys risking their lives for their entertainment. Now, they're choosing to do that career. They could opt to do something else, but that's what they do. So our organization has to work hard to make sure that everything is done right, and then we reward those with a belt that is of great quality, that brings and highlights all of our previous champions, within the company, and that's why it's so important. There was one guy that I did leave out, and I left him for a reason. Montel Ice Griffin. Now Montel fought James Toney, great fighter, beat him twice. Fought the great Roy Jones, beat him once, and then in the last one he lost. But I'm going to tell you that Montel brings so much to the table. He's a very busy man. He runs his own gym to honor his dad. Now, how cool is that? Kind of like me, I started the gym because I wanted to honor my father, Alfonso Curiel. I want that legacy to continue, and hopefully my kids will want to keep their grandpa's name alive and want to do that because it's important, right? That's what helped me get to where I am today, and hopefully they can continue their legacy. And if not, it's okay too, But Montel does so many great things in Chicago. Those kids that want to seek the streets they go to the gym. They go to his gym, and they partake in boxing. And you have a great leader like Montel Ice Griffin. When Vince Hudson had a gathering, it was all in his gym to support Vince. See, so that's what I'm saying, like the Brotherhood, and Vince and Montel and Leroy. We're a family, we take care of all of those that are in our circle because it's so important that we support one another, right? So whenever I need Montel for an appearance, he'll show up. He'll take pictures with kids. He'll talk to them, and things like that. So, he's a representative and he's a board member. He even though he doesn't really show up to a lot of our meetings, I know that if we ever need him, he's always there. I mean, he's always there. He's always helping, and that's what I really respect about Montel. That he was such a high caliber on HBO. He was the man in the light heavyweight division. And my God, anybody that fights for this title, and that's who you're representing. These great guys: Leroy Murphy, Montel Griffin, Jesse Benitez, Laura Ramsey, all these superstars that were very relevant in the sport of boxing. So that's what the ABO is all about. We are a fighters organization. We do have one attorney, but he was also a fighter, John Nacita, right? So he's our attorney, and when we need him, he's there. And I'm going to tell you, we are a fighters organization. I don't have lawyers unless you're a fighter. I don't have doctors unless you're a fighter. But all of us were also former police and law enforcement. I was a police officer. Montel was a sheriff. Leroy was a sheriff. Ernie Brown was a sheriff. A lot of us. Alicia Castaneda. He's in. I believe he's involved with some form of law enforcement, but I know he does something like that. So and he's all in case management. I think that's what it is. But all of us have professional careers aside from what we do here with the ABO, and that's what makes this company so unique and so different. So when you want to fight for our company, just know that you have all these guys that are there for you. We're there for you. We're there to help you. We'll promote you too. We put you on our social media, on our Facebook, on our Instagram, on our Twitter. We brag about you because we're very proud of you. You obviously you believed enough in the ABO to wear our strap. This is reciprocal. We have to play it forward, and we have to do it because this is what we do. So if you ever consider fighting for our championship, and you're a 6-round fighter, you can do that. We can have up to 5 champions because there's 5 regions. 5 regions. So we have the North, West, South, and Central. Okay. Right now we have. We would like to fill all those regions so that you could fight for a national, for the North American Championship, which is an equivalent to a national championship. And then we also have the North American title. Now the North American title is an equivalent to a national championship. And then we have the South American championship, which is an equivalent to a regional, but abroad the Americas. And then we have the Americas title. And that leads us to a 10-round title, which is the Intercontinental Jaguar Championship. So why do we have a Jaguar in our championship belt? Most people have asked me that, and I'm going to tell you, I'm Mexican American. I love my ethnicity. I love my background, and the Jaguar is the gatekeeper of the afterlife. And with the Mayas and with the Aztecs, so we figured that is the best way to celebrate our culture. And then the back of the Jaguar belt, it has like the Jaguar fur, symbolic fur. It's not real, but it feels real, and it's amazing. All the fighters love that, and you win that Intercontinental Jaguar Championship. Believe me, you're going to go places. Now that's not a guarantee. But I just know we've had a lot of luck with a lot of our champions that have won that title and have gone to bigger and better things, and like I said in our previous episode, we want to be that stepping stone. We don't proclaim to be a world title, although we are going to be launching our international title by next year, but we are not a world title, and this Jaguar Championship, wow, it's just beautiful. This one over here is the South American Championship, and this one over here is the American Regional. So this is a 6-round title, 6 to 8 rounds. This one's 8-10, and the Jaguar Intercontinental Jaguar title is a 10-round championship. So that's what we have as far as the organization. We try to discuss things that we believe and we feel are going to benefit the promoter, the fighters, and just the industry in general. Now, I have been asked, how come you're not recognized on BoxRec? Well, I'm going to mention that. I'll tell you. The ABC, which is the Association of Boxing Commissioners, they appointed BoxRec to be their record keeper. The record keeper used to be Fight Facts. Now, Fight Facts, I believe, is no longer in business, so BoxRec took over. Now, what I was told is that they're an independent company, so they can pretty much do what they want. They do record our results on their wiki, and that's fine. As long as those results are posted, they're being compliant. Now, they may not put us like the other organizations, and I can't say bigger organizations because there's something right now that I cannot talk about, but those things, that's strictly up to them. But our stuff is being recorded. Also, on our website, we're going to have a link that will take you to the state, wherever the state is having that. If they post their results, then you will be able to see the results, and it'll say American Boxing Organization or it'll say ABO. So everything will be posted. It's also going to be posted in our social media and the like. And by the way, we are not the only company that has been going through that with this BoxRec thing. But you know what? It is what it is. We can't control them, but we can control what we do. And they are being compliant. They do post our results. So for that, I'm grateful. Right? And with that being said, all I can tell you is that other organizations, they have their own rankings. We have our own rankings, so everything's there. That's really what you should be basing everything on. So as long as we are being compliant to the ABC, submitting our results every month, or our rankings every month, things that need to be, that's all you really should be concerned about. Now, we also like to take it a step further, because it's part of being transparent, right? We keep maintaining those records, and if people need them, we got them, but there is a fee for processing that, because we have to process that. So that's what we have, and in our next episode, I really would like to talk about the next coming fights. I know that next week we have championship fights in Matamoros, Mexico. Matamoros, Mexico. And then on September 18th, we have fights, we're back in Houston, Texas. And we'll be talking about those fighters, the fights, the promoters that have been very supportive to this organization. I would like to send a shout out to El Tigre, Alfonso, Felix, Chris. You guys have been amazing. Thank you for your continuous support. Este mensaje es para Pepe Alcaraz, de allá de Matamoros, México. Muchas gracias por todo su apoyo, su amistad, por creer en nuestra organización y por tratar de que nosotros continuemos creciendo. Y usted ha hecho un gran labor, un gran trabajo en manejar y promover todo lo que es el boxeo. So lo felicito. I also want to send a shout out to Joe DeGuardia from Star Boxing Incorporated out in New York. We've done, I think last year he did 3 or 4 or 5 different championship fights, and I'm very grateful to Mr. Joe DeGuardia. So I want to send him a shout out. And I don't think I've left anybody out, but and Mr. Troy Eskridge from Eskridge Enterprises. He's got something in the works, and I'm very excited about that. We are very blessed to be working on this project, and these are the promoters that I really have a lot of respect for, because you know what? They look beyond all the political nonsense that's out there, and they really like they like what we do. And If you have any questions, you can just reach out to them, or you can, ask an inquiry. Hey, how are these guys? Are they responsible? Do they deliver? Have they done what they said they would do? Yeah. So I think that we've done a pretty good job. So I want to thank everybody that has helped the American Boxing Organization grow. I want to help my son, Carlos Curio. He's editing and he's making these awesome videos to help his own man. And I'm very grateful for that, because that just shows me that he does want to see this thing grow, and so do I. So thank you very much, everybody, for showing us respect and love. I just couldn't be any happier. Our next episode is going to be really good, because, like I said, we're going to be talking about the promoters, our fighters, and our ranking system. So thank you so much for tuning in, and enjoy your week. Thank you.